مرحبا أصدقائي الأعزاء، أرحب بكم من المركز الثقافي الروسي في بيروت، من بيت الروسي في بيروت. عام 2021 أعلنت روسيا عام علوم والتكنولوجيا. فبيت الروسي في بيروت بيعمل نشاطات كتير في مجال آه، انتشار اللغة الروسية وعلوم روسية وتكنولوجيات وتعاون بين الجامعات الروسية واللبنانية. فكمان نحن قررنا كل شهر أن نعمل محاضرة جديدة في موضوع جديدة يتعلق ب آه، صنع علوم التكنولوجيا في روسيا. مثلا في شهر 3 نحن عملنا معكم محاضرة عن الطب المستقبلي. ففي شهر 4 نحن عملنا طاولة مستديرة حول موضوع الفضاء علم فلكي. ففي شهر 4 نحن قررنا نتحدث معكم في موضوع كتير مهم في عام معلوماتي. فاليوم نحن نعمل محاضرة مع جامعة إتمو، وهي من أقوى الجامعات في العالم في هذا المجال، في مجال الهندسة المعلوماتية. نحن نعمل طاولة مستديرة معكم أو محاضرة بالعنوان عن معلوماتي، تحديات وتهديدات الجديدة. فإذا نحدث معكم في موضوع محاضرة اليوم، ففي السنوات الأخيرة انتشرت استخدام الحوسبة في معظم الأنشطة المهنية واليومية في كل العالم، وأصبحت شبكات الاتصال وأنظمة معلومات أهم عامل في التنمية الاقتصادية واجتماعية لكل العالم. لهذا السبب أصبحت ضمان أمن معلومات أهم عامل في تنمية اقتصادية واجتماعية لكل العالم. فصارت هذا الموضوع كتير مهمة لجميع المؤسسات التعليمية وعلمية. فاليوم آه، تتزايد وتيرة استخدام أجهزة الكمبيوتر وأجهزة المحمولة مع إنترنت لتخزين معلومات كل يوم، مستندات ورسائل وصور وموسيقى وقواعد بيانات ملاءة ورواتب وطلبات وفواتير والحسابات المصرفية وغيرها. مع تزيد استخدام آم، أجهزة الكمبيوتر وشبكات الاتصالات ازدادت عدد حوادث أمنية. كلما ازدادت حجم المعلومات التي يتم معالجتها وإرسالها بواسطة الكمبيوتر ووسائل معلوماتية، ازدادت مخاطر مترتبة متعلقة بحفظ هذه المعلومات. واليوم نحن نتحدث مع ممثلين جامعة إتمو، مع ألكسندر ألكسيevich مينشيكوف، وهو دكتور في علوم وتقنية وأستاذ آه، مشارك بالكلية تكنولوجيا معلومات في جامعة إتمو، ومدير مركز تعليم وتدريب كبر بلهون. وكمان يشارك معنا اليوم الطالب من سوريا، وهو طالب ماجستير في أمن معلومات لأنظمة كمبيوتر، اسمه درويش هدير. فلا أحب أخذ كثير من وقتكم، والآن سأعطي كلمة إلى أستاذ دكتور ألكسندر ألكسيويتش، ونسمع محاضرة عن الأهمية أمن معلوماتي في روسيا وفي العالم كله. أرحب بألександр Алексеевич. Добрый день, Александр Алексеевич. Я приветствую вас из Бейрута, из русского дома Бейруте. И я рассказал нашим зрителям, нашим подписчикам о том, что мы сегодня в рамках Года науки и технологий в России проводим круглый стол и поговорим сегодня об информационной безопасности с представителями, ну, наверное, ведущего в России и в мире вуза, который готовит специалистов данной отрасли, университетом ИТМО, который находится в Санкт-Петербурге. Не хочу занимать много времени наших слушателей и передаю вам слово. Спасибо.
Thank you very much. I will continue speaking in English. My name is Alexander, and I work in ITMO University on the School of Secure Information Technologies. And today we're going to speak about information security, about cybersecurity, about threats, about trends, about jobs in this area, about how to prepare your skills to work in this area, where to study, how to self-study, about all of these fundamentals in cybersecurity. So let's start. I will share my slides. And yeah, cybersecurity, new challenges and threats. Well, if we Google for cybersecurity and for news about cybersecurity, then it looks like cybersecurity is something that is in trend. Imagine just random news from Google. US has almost 500,000 jobs openings in cybersecurity. Cybersecurity in healthcare, a critical need. Cybersecurity threats have risen. So looks like that cybersecurity is something that needs lots of specialists to fill these workplaces. Well, actually, let's go to the definition. Cybersecurity is the practice of defending computers, servers, mobile devices, electronic systems, everything that connected to cyber world, to computers, from malicious attacks, from something that could affect and make harm to the system. Well, cybersecurity is a very complex discipline, and it includes lots of subcategories. For example, some of the main ones is the security of network, of course, application security, security of information, operational security, the most interesting one, incident response and penetration testing of the security of organization. And of course, education of employees, of end users. Let's discuss these subcategories first. Well, the first one is network security. You know that securing computer network is something essential. If we Google for news in this field, we can see, for example, that even students in Massachusetts took down computer network. So computer security is something that prevents such kinds of attacks and such kinds of threats. Application security, what is it? That's security of software and devices. And if you see, the statistics tells us that 72% of respondents of organizations suffered at least from one application security vulnerability. So it affects almost all our companies, even the large ones. Well, operational security and informational security, that's about processes. That's about decisions for handling and protecting data assets. That's about integrity and privacy of data, which is being stored or transit. That's about practically how to protect data in your organization. Who is in charge for USB drives, how to label USB drives, how to encrypt and decrypt data, who's in charge for data, how to even organize all of these processes so no one insider can get the information and, for example, steal it. Well, incident response and testing. That's about how to deal with security issues on organizational and technical level, and how to test the security level of your organization. There are two terms, blue team and red team. That's about how to test if your system have some known vulnerabilities, and how to monitor the system, how to search for an attack 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and so. And of course, education of end users, because according to the statistics, even cybersecurity leaders of half a companies that been polled use their work computer for personal needs, and they even don't follow the simple cybersecurity rules. For example, they can reuse their passwords. And teaching users to follow these simple security processes, deleting suspicious emails, not following suspicious links in emails, not plugging in unidentified USB drives. That's essential part of the cybersecurity. So you see that cybersecurity is something really big. And what are threats practically? Let's discuss it. Actually, if we come to the definition, threat is some potential negative action that can be facilitated by, for example, a vulnerability and result as an unwanted impact over the computer system or application. For example, if you have some weaknesses on the website of your company, of your organization, then it can result of an attack, for example. So the threat is a negative action provided by vulnerability and affecting the organization. But let's discuss this on simple examples. What actions can actually happen? The first one is unauthorized access. When someone, for example, achieve the control over your account in social network, for example, or the misuse of assets, like someone can distribute illegal content using your computer or your server or website of your organization. That's something that needs to be protected. And disclosure of sensitive information, for example, personal data of users, some medical data, maybe some secrets of the company. Also, unauthorized changes of data. That's not good when someone, for example, change the news on your corporate website and add there some advertising, for example. And of course, theft and destruction. The delete of data is also can be a negative aspect of an attack to your system. So how to provide these threats? How criminals provide these actions? The first is malware. Viruses, botnets, trojans, they can be put to your system with, for example, suspicious email attachment, or some insiders can plug USB drive with virus into the computer that is connected to the corporate network. That's phishing emails that appears to be from legit person, but they include some dangerous links and attachments. It can be even targeted attacks of criminal groups to your company. Of course, if this company is quite big, I guess. It can be also attacks of bots, which tries to cause denial of service of your organization. It can harm, for example, your income if this is a marketplace, say. So if we come to the statistics about some incidents of targeted attacks against organizations, we can see by these numbers that looks like attacks number grown rapidly. And if we see the statistics of this year, the trend is going to be like increasing. So let's discuss what is targeted attacks, what criminals want to do with your organization and with personal also. So the first one is types of stolen data. So the goal of criminals is to steal something, so to get income. The third part of all the stolen data, according to the statistics, is personal data. That's information about us. That's our personal data. That's names, that's phone numbers, that's even maybe passwords. Also corporate secrets. If it's IT company or if it's a government company, the secrets can be stolen, can be published, can be used in competitive intelligence, for example. Also, criminals trying to steal credentials. Credentials, that's basically our passwords and our tokens, our card numbers, everything that we can reuse, for example, on other websites. It also can be medical records, payment card information, and some databases with clients' data. Well, who are victims of these attacks? Practically, the victims are randomly distributed. The 1 of a 5 part is government. Under this means not only government itself, but also organizations that are close to government. Criminals also trying to attack manufacturing industries, IT, healthcare, of course, retail and market, because that's money. Finance fields like banks, invest banks, and so. Interesting facts about banking. If we go to the statistics of fraud types, we can see that the vast majority, about 90% of all the fraud types, is social engineering. You maybe know that social engineering is practically a fraud. That's when someone trying to call you and trying to get some private information about your passwords, about your codes in SMS, about your, I don't know, serial numbers and credit card numbers just by phone. So social engineering seems to be something that needs protection. And also interesting information how people steal money nowadays from ATM. There are only two basically types of stealing money from ATM. It's breaking in or explosion. And you can see that breaking in is growing while explosion is slightly decreased. Well, if we are talking about social engineering, then this is time to speak about phishing, about trying to steal data from users. There are two mostly important type of phishing. The first one is malicious attachment. See on the example, this is a common phishing malicious email when someone tries to trigger you to click on this attachment. Because if you see this email, you can see that this is something about salary. So on the word salary, the brain is switching off and people just click into the document. And then if they have outdated software, for example, it will lead to the exploit of your system. And the second type is malicious link. It works slightly different. It tries to threaten you, to force you to click to the malicious link. And if you click to the malicious link, there are two possible outcomes. The first one is if you have outdated browser, it will affect exploiting you and running unauthorized code over your browser. And otherwise, it will lead to the fake website that will have the same design as your, for example, social network. And if you put your password in it, then the password will be known by the attackers. So, and by the statistics, that's very interesting. Every fourth employee opened an attached document and even clicked the button which enabled macroses in it. Every third employee followed a phishing link, and every sixth employee entered credentials on phishing website. So looks like educating end users is very important thing. You can have a super talented system against breaking in, but if your users are not protected, then criminals can go inside your organization. There are lots of different security projects like Open Web Application Security Project, which is a non-profit foundation that will help to improve security of software and provide you some guidance about how to build your applications and your systems secure and safe. It usually publishes testing guides, some tools like dependency track tool, which can help you to find common vulnerabilities in your software, or maybe outdated libraries that you use in your software. So that's a good approach to learn this guide before you will start your career in this field. I also want to mention one very interesting and important thing. There is a common mainstream media misuse of the term hacker. Actually, if you go to the history of this term, hacker means a good engineer with deep understanding of technologies, but media use it incorrectly. Let's name the things with the proper terms. If someone steals money independently, if he steals money from pocket in train, or he steals money with the use of computer, he's a thief, he's not a hacker. If someone deceives people independently, if he calls to people, if he tries to mislead people on the street, or if he wrote an phishing email to the person, he's not a hacker, he's fraud. If someone breaks systems independently, he can took a stone and broke the window of a shop, of a market, or he can took an exploit and broke a computer system independently. He's a vandal, he's not a hacker. So my point is the valid use of terms. Let's name criminals criminals, not hackers. Well, and before we will end from the first part of the speech, some security tips. Probably they are so simple, but according to the statistics, you can see that nobody follows even these simple rules. So always update your software and operating system. Use strong passwords and different passwords for different websites, because if someone breaks in the one website, he can steal the passwords and use them to another website, for example, on the banking. Please do not ever open email attachments from unknown senders, and do not click on links from emails from unknown senders, and don't put your credentials on unfamiliar websites. And also, that's a good approach of not using insecure Wi-Fi networks in public places. Instead, you could use VPN if you know what it is, or you can use like share the internet from your mobile internet provider. It would be safe instead of using public networks. Well, the second part of the speech is trend in cybersecurity. Let's discuss it. So, cybersecurity looks to be a very trending according to the jobs. If we go to the PwC global statistics, we can see that the vast majority of companies are not going to decrease the number of jobs. Instead, about 30% of companies, they will increase less than 5 or maybe even more than 5% of jobs in this area. And according to the statistics, 3.5 million cybersecurity jobs are expected to go unfilled. So that's a very good start. That's super easy to get this job, but this job is quite technical, difficult. So if you have the necessary skills, you can easily get the job. So the only problem is how to get the skills. But firstly, let's discuss the main trends. And if you see the current situation about COVID-19 situation, you can see that the trend number one is remote work, because today, insanely 64% of employees able to work from home. Imagine now you can take your laptop and connect to your company network with your laptop. That includes your personal data that you can take with you to the coffee shop, for example, and it will affect, it will make a huge security breach, and a security boundary can disappear. So organizations need to somehow harden this system, and that's quite a difficult process that will lead to the high number of cybersecurity attacks. The challenge number two is ransomware. This is when the virus encrypts all the data and asks to pay money for decryption key, and the organization steps by a hard choice to lose the data or to pay for the criminals, which is not good. And one of the possible solutions is to create a zero trust network access. That's like a VPN 2.0, but that's a hard and difficult technical and scientific task. Challenge number three is multi-factor authentication. You know that phones and shared messaging systems are not protected enough. They can somehow be intercepted or decrypted. So today, big companies are trying to enable multi-factor authentication with password and with code from special application. Rise of AI, that's a really big challenge. Because on the one hand, we have lots of data. Today, security operating centers have billions of security events a day. So how to manage billions of events? That's not be possible with hands. You need to implement machine learning techniques for that. And also criminals invent their own attacks. For example, there are some adversarial attacks on neural networks when people include some special code to image, for example, or to some data, and neural network will incorrectly recognize it. For example, just take a picture of panda, add some noise, special calculated noise, and we get almost confident image of gibbon, which is strange. So AI is the new trend. And also expanding cyber attack surface. Today, we are in the world full of smart devices. Today, we have smart watches, smart lamps, smart vacuum cleaners, smart coffee machines. All of them are connected to the internet. That's insane because that smart devices are cheap. They don't have special security chips inside it. They don't implement good cryptography. So we have 30 billions of IoT devices and we don't know how to protect them. That's a big challenge. And IoT device security is a new trend. And these challenges are strictly and directly connected with challenges in cybersecurity with scientific tasks. Because artificial intelligence and machine learning, that's practically not only engineering, that's science. We have to implement new methods of anomaly behavior detection, of attack detection, of fraud detection. That's are not solved tasks yet. We need to protect our cyber physical systems. I've already told you about adversarial attacks. They can work even in real world. For example, imagine an autonomous vehicle that can recognize stop signs. And if we place special marks, special calculated marks to this sign, we can mislead this autonomous device and it will incorrectly recognize the sign. It can affect system a lot. It can even cause some deaths, which is bad. So IoT devices security, anti-adversarial methods, multi-edged system security, that's also a trend and a huge scientific task. You probably know the difference between security and safety, because security, that's practically a protecting against destructive effects from attacker, while safety is preventing everything that has involuntary nature. So there is no attacker. That's a safety of people from the technology itself. For example, if we have self-driving trains with machine vision, we need to be sure that their machine vision works on the required security level, which is a difficult scientific task. How to do it? Nobody knows. Quantum and post-quantum cryptography, because quantum computer is real now, and in 5 years we need to move all the cryptography to the post-quantum methods, which is difficult because that methods are not properly learned. And of course, today's the world of clouds. Today, everything is in cloud, and we need some new methods to be sure in the security of our data, because personal data in some other country, in some server, that's a breach in security perimeter, and we need to somehow manage it, somehow implement trust and compliance of it. And here we come to the final part, how to become a cybersecurity expert, how to be professional in this field, how to firstly train yourself, and secondly, get the necessary skills. Personally, I believe in practical skills, not only theoretical. So what is practical skills? That's very simple. Practically, that's programming, because each computer security expert that I know knows programming on a very high level. That's very essential skill for cybersecurity. Also, system and network administration. If we want to provide network security and software security, we need to know how networks work. So we need to take a course on networks. DevOps also as a link between programming and between administrations. Of course, math, because if you want to be successful in cryptography or in coding theory, or even in some kinds of applied cryptography, you need to know at least number theory. And of course, experimenting with technologies and devices, because cybersecurity is a very young field and you need to be curious. You need to take every new technology and try to understand how it's inside, how it works. That's about playing with technologies, and that's a very essential skill. So practical cybersecurity will result as a job in, for example, application security, or in research of new security methods or vulnerabilities. In malware analysis, when you take an example of malware, reverse engineering it, and see how it works and how to protect from it. It's about forensics and digital investigations, when you're trying to understand by logs what's going on, how you've been hacked, and how to protect yourself from future attacks. And also incident response, how to read logs, how to monitor systems, how to understand if you've even been hacked. That's not a simple answer. So the first, how to get the necessary skills by yourself. There are 4 recipes. The first is learning new technologies. You hear about new technology, say, I don't know, some crypto method. You will learn about it. Just Google and try to understand how it works. Read best articles, because today scientific articles are usually in public sphere. You can read it without payments, because people publish them voluntarily. Also, that's a good approach to watch videos from large security conferences. Even CryptoCon has some speeches of fundamental and basic level, so you can go to the YouTube and watch lessons from cybersecurity professionals. It can be done from any country over the world. And the last approach is to play capture the flag competitions, which are competitions of applied computer security. For example, there is a nice website, ctftime.org, where you can find lots of tournaments of computer security. And this is totally legal to participate in it, to train your skills, to solve some cryptography tasks, some forensics tasks, some reverse engineering of data, some protection against attacks. Learning by playing, that's a good and fun approach. And the last part, where to learn if you get the first initial skills by yourself. So we have a very large university where we have a School of Secure Information Technologies inside. In the ITMO University, we have some departments, and inside Computer Technologies and Control Department, we have a Faculty of Secure Information Technologies, which is our school where I work. And our school has a rather long history. Practically, we have strong traditions and some innovative approaches. We have about 150 academic staff, and we gathered not only theoretical researchers, but also practical researchers and experts. We have 2 international research labs, about 10 large projects, and 5 teaching laboratories. And also we have 3 master's programs, which one is in cybersecurity itself, one is about engineering and securing safe systems design, one about safety and security of transport systems. So the whole bunch of cybersecurity subcategories are filled by our education departments on our school. For example, we have some research about cybersecurity, which is network security, anomaly detection, sensor attack identification, clouds, cryptography, even biometric user identification. We also goes from cybersecurity itself to cyber physical system security. I've already told about security of IoT devices, security of post-quantum cryptography, multi-agent communication security. That's the part of our research, of our PhD theses, of our students' diplomas. And security and safety, we're going to the physical world, to the cybersecurity which provides safety of autonomous robots, of functioning of vehicle groups, of network nodes, of image recognition even. So you see that that's not only about security, that's also about safety, about basic skills in machine learning, artificial intelligence, and so. We also believe that the theory is not enough. We also need practice. That's why we organize a large computer security competition. It's called Cybrix, and it's worldwide famous. We have teams from more than 65 countries, big prizes for top teams, and more than 1,000 teams that participated in the last year. So we have some CTF teams who played on the worldwide competitions, and we also believe in training. Every week we take top CTF teams players, top security experts, and they voluntarily teach students to how to practice in cybersecurity. Our teams also also are in top 10 in Russian rating and even one of the best in world rating. Our top team is in top 3 teams all over the world. And the last interesting thing is that we have a special master program in information security, which is only one program on cybersecurity in Russia, which is fully taught in English. We have all studies, all lectures, research, materials, even theses, everything in English. So our security experts can provide lessons with a good English level. And students can even get double degree diploma with the partnership in Finland. So we also have some visiting lecturers who are from industry, who have real practical experience. And also we teach real skills like web software development and security, database security, modern cryptographic algorithms, network security, cryptography of IoT devices, computer networks, cloud computing, and so on. So the skills that are in trend now. And the research internship can be provided in the real project areas, not somewhere in ITMOR, but in the teams of real educational, real partners from industry. We also have some short courses on cryptography, on security, on malware analysis, on digital forensics, on every trending field. And it appears like every month and even every week sometimes. And most of them are in Russia, but sometimes we have materials, lectures in English. So that's open thing for any our student. So I think probably that's all that I wanted to discuss. And finally, I want to recommend you to go our international website where you can find all the additional information. So practically, thank you very much. I will stop the sharing of slides.
Большое спасибо, Александр Алексеевич, за такую достаточно доступную и важную информацию, которую вы с нами поделились. И я думаю, что за этой специальностью будущего мы иногда в наших лекциях, наших мероприятиях приводим пример также атлас будущих профессий будущего, который издает Сколково. И вот я думаю, что это одна из профессий как раз тех, которые будут востребованы и через 2-3 года, когда студенты окончат свое обучение. Большое вам спасибо. Тогда, если позволите, мы пообщаемся немножко с Гадиром, узнаем, как он учится в вашем университете, а потом в конце обсудим еще несколько вопросов. большое вам спасибо. شكرا دكتور ألكسندر، شكرا على محاضرة يعني معلومات كتير مهمة. كمان نحن ضمن برامج تبعاتنا وكمان برنامج تبعاتنا نكتشف جامعة الرائدة مع بيت الروسي في بيروت. نحن دائما نتحدث عن اختصاصات مستقبلية. ما هو اختصاص يكون مطلوب بعد 2 أو 3 عندما الطالب يعمل تخرج من الجامعة، وهذا الكثير مهم. يعني ليست مو دائما اختصاص مطلوب الآن في سوق العمل، سوف يكون مطلوب بعد 2 3 4. فمعنا اليوم مشارك في ندوة طالب من سوريا الذي يدرس في جامعة تمو درويش هدير. فأهلا بك في برنامج، ومن فضلك ممكن تحكي شوية تفاصيل عن خبرة دراسة في جامعة وفي هذا التخصص، قديش هذا الاختصاص مهم الآن؟ هل توجد فرص عمل في منطقة في الشرق الأوسط؟ ويعني كيف انطباعاتك من التعليم في هذه واحدة من أقوى جامعات في روسيا وفي العالم؟ شكرا.
شكرا. مرحبا جميعا. أنا هون رح أحكي بشكل مختصر عن تجربتي بجامعة الإيتمو بهذا البرنامج Information Security اللي حكى عنه الأستاذ ألكسندر. اسمي غدير درويش، أنا طالب ماجستير سنة ثانية بجامعة الإيتمو، عم أدرس Information Security وبالتحديد Computer System Security. هلا بداية ليش اخترت أنا هذا الاختصاص؟ أنا خلصت جامعة بسوريا بجامعة التشرين باختصاص كمبيوتر ساينس. بعد منها حصلت على تجربة عمل حوالي سنتين بمجال الانفورميشن سيكيورتي. حقيقة لما اشتغلت بهذا المجال كتير حبيت وحسيت إنه هو له مستقبل واعي، فحبيت إني أكمل الدراسات العليا باختصاص الانفورميشن سيكيورتي. ليش اخترت روسيا وليش اخترت جامعة الإيتمو؟ صراحة هي في جامعات بروسيا هي من أقوى الجامعات على الترتيب العالمي، يعني لما مجال الكمبيوتر ساينس. جامعة الإيتمو خصوصا يعني حاصلة على شهادات الأسي إم على البطولات حوالي 7 مرات. الانفورميشن سيكوريتي بتقدم كثير برامج ممتازة بالنسبة لي. بتقدم تدريبات مثلا بال روبوتكس، سمارت تكنولوجيز، ساينس ارت الى اخره. باختصاص الانفورميشن سيكيورتي انا في نقطه كثير ايجابيه هون، دراستي في بالانجليزي وبالروسي. بتقدم تدريبات على تقنيات عالميه، تقنيات الاكثر شيء هلا هي مستخدمه بمجال السيكيورتي. بتقدم اختصاصات كتير واعدة اللي هي cyber security technologies, computer systems, information security analytics, bank cyber security, bank sectors, cryptography methods. وفي عندك خيار دراسة الإنجليزي ودراسة الإنجليزي باللغة الروسية. هلا راح أحكي أنا بس كلمتين عن البرنامج اللي عم ندرسه، برنامج الكمبيوتر سيستمز. الحقيقة خلال هاي السنتين اللي درستها من هون حصلت على تدريب كتير ممتاز بمجالات كتير، يعني كتير ساعدني أنا هذا الشيء، هذا البرنامج إني أحصل على الشغل اللي أنا عم أشتغله حاليا. قدم لي كتير المعلومات اللي هي مطلوبة بالسوق، اللي مطلوبة لما بتتخلص أنت كطالب لحتى فورا تباشر بالشغل. فأنا كان عندي مثلا كورسات عن database security, operating system security, risk management, web security, mobile security, cloud computing, network advanced security. يعني الكورسات اللي هي صراحة بتساعدك لحتى تباشر طريقة سوق العمل. حاليا أنا هلا بنهاية السنة الثانية، يعني فيني أقول هيك عم أحط اللمسات الأخيرة لرسالة الماجستير. رسالة الماجستير هي بعنوان Detecting Mechanical Spoofing Attacks in Software Defined Networks. ابتكرنا طريقة أو ميكانيزم جديد لحتى نوقف هجمات العربي بال SDN Networks. طريقة كتير عطت نتائج كويسة وتم نشرها بمجلات كمان كويسة، فعم جهز حالنا للدفاع عنها يعني خلال الشهر الجاي. هلا بالنسبة للمستقبل أو شو رح أنا أشتغل، أنا قدمت الأوراق حاليا وعم نتابع خطوات التسجيل للمنحة للبوست جراديويت بجامعة الإيتمو. فبتمنى تكمل الأمور كلها هيك تمام هلا مثل ما هي بالماجستير، ونحقق الهدف من الدراسة يعني بخصوص انفورميشن سيكيورتي بجامعة الإيتمو. وشكرا لكم وجاهز لأي أسئلة.
شكرا جزيلا. يعني هل يستطيع الطالب يدرس ويشتغل في نفس الوقت، ويعني خاصة في نفس الاختصاص؟
هلا بالنسبة لي أنا بصراحة انطرت لحتى خلصت الكورسات لحتى بلشت شغل، بس في كتير من زملائي هم كانوا قادرين ينسقوا بين الدراسة وبين الشغل. خصوصا أنت إذا عم تشتغل أونلاين فعندك الوقت الكافي لحتى تدرس وتشتغل.
اوكي، شكرا جزيلا على خبرة
شكرا.
تبعك. فعندي الآن سؤال إلى دكتور ألكسندر. بيت الروسي في بيروت يناقش الآن مع جامعة إتمو يعني مشروع جديدة. إذا نحن نعمل في يعني دورات مشتركة أو دورات القصيرة خاصة في سايبر سيكيورتي. فعندي سؤال للدكتور ألكسندر، ما هي شهادات معترفة في العالم في هذا المجال؟ فهل طلاب يستفيدوا من يعني شهادات من دورات مكسر؟ Александр Алексеевич, у меня вопрос к вам. Дело в том, что Русский дом в Бейруте сейчас обсуждает с университетом ИТМО возможность проведения небольших краткосрочных курсов совместных с использованием дистанционных технологий в том числе. И в связи с этим у меня вопрос. Какие дипломы или сертификаты признаются в мире, доказывают квалификацию в данной сфере? И вот если мы сделаем программу повышения квалификации, курс, допустим, на 24 часа или больше, поможет ли он, может быть, специалистам либо новичкам продвинуться в данной отрасли или нет? Или подтвердить частично какие-то их навыки, квалификацию? Спасибо.
Well, thank you for the question about certifications in the cybersecurity field. There are basically two types of recognizable certifications. The first one is usual government-supported diploma. For example, if you are a PhD, it will be a PhD for any cybersecurity company. So that's like a brand. And if you finished a master's diploma, for example, it will also prove your skills. And also there are second types of certifications, which are mostly corporate ones, and they, I think, costs lots of money to even try to get, but they are prove your skills very well. As I remember, there are some of them, for example, CISSP certificate, which is Certified Information System Security Professional. You will have about 5 years of experience to achieve this certificate. Or the SSCP certificate, which is System Security Certified Practitioner, which is easier to achieve, but it's also a very difficult exam, which will also prove your skills. There are also some European certificates like Certificate of Ethical Hacker, which proves your skills in discovery of vulnerabilities before the malicious users and players do this. Certificate of Certified Auditor and some others. I think there are some Google lists of the certifications, but that's a good approach to start from the ordinary diploma of a big university, large university, and then apply for some professional certificates in this field.
Спасибо большое за информацию. И, наверное, в конце последний вопрос. Вы рассказали о многих угрозах безопасности, кибербезопасности. И что, на ваш взгляд, какая из них является такой самой актуальной и с которой будет сложнее всего бороться в будущем, когда технологии будут развиваться еще сильнее, приходить в нашу жизнь еще больше? Спасибо. Сейчас на арабский язык переведу вопрос. فخلال محاضرة تبعكم نحن ناقشنا يعني تحديات كثيرة لأمن المعلومات الموجودة في العالم، بس ما هي أهم تحديات ولمستقبل عندما التكنولوجيات يعني كل يوم يعني بيدخلوا حياتنا بصورة كتير قوية. شكرا. Пожалуйста.
I think, in my opinion, the most important and actual security issue is always social engineering, because people is the most vulnerable element in every system. Human errors are very common thing. People not follow guides, people forget about security practices, people are always the weak thing that needs to be protected.
Большое вам спасибо, Александр Алексеевич, за сегодняшнюю лекцию. У меня за спиной как раз находится баннер, где обозначены все тематические месяцы года науки и технологий. Мы в нашей программе будем двигаться по данному календарному плану и каждый месяц знакомить наших подписчиков на канале Facebook Studying Russian for Lebanese с достижениями Российской Федерации в разных областях. Большое вам спасибо еще раз за ваше участие. Мы рады сотрудничеству с университетом ИТМО и надеемся на расширение наших контактов, а также, возможно, на какие-то совместные небольшие образовательные программы, курсы, которым мы могли бы представить ливанской аудитории. Большое спасибо и желаю вам успехов в обучении российских иностранных студентов. Большое спасибо. شكرا جزيلا دكتور ألكسندر لمحاضرة. شكرا لمشاركة معنا في برنامج. وكمان أنا يعني ورائي يوجد بانر باللغة الروسية مكتوب فيها عام علوم وتكنولوجيا في روسيا، ومكتوب جدول محاضرة اللي موجود عندنا أو يعني في مجالات مختلفة. وخلال عام 2021 سوف نناقش معكم موضوعات الجديدة يعني ضمن هذا البرنامج. شكرا جزيلا على المشاركة. شكرا يا غزير. إذا تحب تحكي يعني بعض الكلمات الأخيرة أو يعني شيء للطلاب الذين يسمعوا علينا، تفضلوا.
طبعا بنصح الطلاب بالبرنامج الانفورميشن سيكيورتي، وخصوصا البرنامج اللي بنقدمه هون. راح تحصل على امكانيات، راح نحصل هون وحصلنا على امكانيات كثير، على اشتراكات بتقدمها على مخابر موجوده بالجامعه. الانفورميشن سيكيورتي هو كثير مجال واعد هلا، وكثير مجال بالكمبيوتر ساينس لحتى تباشر شيء للمستقبل وانك ضامن فرصه الشغل في المستقبل ان شاء الله. ف بتمنى توفيق للجميع، وشكركم كثير يا دكتور على الاستضافة بالبث، وشكرا لكم.
شكرا. Александр Алексеевич, нас сейчас слушает много студентов, в том числе, возможно, будущих абитуриентов российских вузов. Вот в конце нашей передачи за вами последнее слово. Что бы вы хотели им пожелать в будущем?
I want to recommend you to be curious about technologies. Always play with technologies, with new programming languages, new operation systems. This awareness of new technologies and new approaches will always be important, and you will easily get a job if you have this in your real life, in your behavior.
Thank you very much. شكرا جزيلا لجميع المشاركين. نراكم يا مستمعينا الأعزاء يعني بعد شهر في هذا البرنامج ضمن عام علوم وتكنولوجيا في روسيا. شكرا جزيلا، مع السلامة.